All right. Well, first of all, I'd like to talk about the credit union and some of its old-fashioned way of business, the way we do things. When I was a casual down here in the waterfront, 1984 to 87, during those years, there was times when members back then they couldn't get a loan anywhere else for like a car or for certain little things they wanted to get. The credit union was always there to get that loan. You were able to, if you got denied other places, you got help there, which was a very nice thing because we just pull all our money together, all of us members, and the loans are given out, and that's how I learned when I was growing with the credit union. Then I got active with the credit union in the late 90s, at which point then I started to realize even more about how the credit union worked and how we cooperatively work together as longshoremen down here. And when I say longshoremen, I'm speaking 13, 94, 63, and all the divisions, any member there. So when I realized back then that how a member wouldn't pay, in the 98s, when I realized back then that nobody wouldn't pay their bills or they would go delinquent, the credit union recognized that, okay, this member at this point, we're going to write this loan off. But we won't report the member to the credit bureaus. We weren't that kind of company. So what would happen was we'd always realize that that member would come back in later parts of the life where they start making better money, where they start doing better, where they start getting more financially secure. That member would come back to the credit union, ask to be reinstated. We would tell them, of course, that, hey, you went delinquent on a loan and that this loan must be paid. Well, guess what happens 99% of the time? That individual will pay that loan off. They would recognize at that point the problems. They would recognize how they grew. And the credit union was there at the beginning and the end. If we talk about this new branch and what I think about it, it was a great idea. It was historically a great idea for us as a credit union. We are getting larger. We recognize that we went from 4,000 members when I joined to 6,000. Now we're at 14,000 members, I believe, right around there. Don't get me on that number. But the fact remains this: here we are today, and here we are right now opening this to where all our members are in this area of San Pedro. This branch will strive because these members now have the ability to get their financial needs, do their business in this office. It makes it a lot easier. I know Wilmington ain't the furthest out of town, but the fact remains, when Western gets packed up with automobiles during 5 o'clock, it's hard to get down there and back in within just 20, 30 minutes. That ain't the case anymore. But today, with this institution being here and what it's going to do for the surrounding communities, it's going to be, I honestly do think it's a monumental day. I honestly do believe that we are now in a place that we're moving forward. We're not going back, we're going forward. And I just hope everybody can recognize that. Today kind of gave you a good idea of all the dignitaries that were here and the union officials that recognize, yes, this is a plus for this community. It is a plus for the longshoremen. And then that's what I'd like to say. Thanks.